Fallout fans, you've played the game, you've watched the show, but did you know there was a tabletop role-playing game for Fallout? Now, the video game series has put out several editions of this game, and recently we even got an Amazon show, which the second season is coming out in December. But did you know you can actually play in the Wasteland? I have here the starter set for the Fallout tabletop role-playing game from Bethesda and Modiphius Games. It is still sealed, haven't opened it, and we are going to open this together in an unboxing video. Let's go. All right, I am super excited to see what's in this box. So let's bust this open and find out what is in here. Now, I haven't played all the Fallout games. I have played a few though. I have played the one that took place in Boston, and I've played the one that took place in Washington, D.C. And I didn't cut this enough. Let's see. Okay, there we go. All right. Plastic's coming up. Well, it looks like I gouged the box a little bit, but that's okay. All right, so there is a core rulebook for this. If you're not really into starter sets, I can link that down below if you want to pick one up on Amazon. That will get me some affiliate commission. But there is a starter set, and I've always liked starter sets for the ability to like try out a game for a little less than buying all the rulebooks. So first, before I actually open the box up, let's check out the back here. There's a lot of information here on the back, and it says, "Welcome home." Well, that's interesting. That's fun. Immerse yourself in the genre-defining setting with this introduction to the official Fallout tabletop role-playing game. This starter set gets you playing Fallout using the 2D20 system, designed and tailored for an authentic Wasteland experience. Role-play as a unique character in the familiar setting of the Commonwealth around Boston. Now, that is particularly exciting to me because I did grow up in Massachusetts. I'm very familiar with Boston. So even when I played the video game, it was exciting for me to run around the city of Boston and see some very familiar sights. So apparently the adventure that comes in this starter set is also based in Boston. Very exciting. So it's telling me that in here we're going to find a 56-page rulebook. I believe the hardcover core rulebook is over 400 pages, so this is why you're getting condensed rules, and this is what makes starter sets so unique. Containing all the core rules, perks, and equipment to explore this wasteland. It also comes with a 60-page quest book called Once Upon a Time in the Wasteland, taking your characters on an exciting quest around the nuclear-ravaged wastelands outside Boston. It also comes with 6 pre-generated characters to choose from, including ghouls, super mutants, and even a Mr. Handy robot. Oh, now that's really cool. You don't have to just be a vault dweller in this game. You can be any of these characters. Mr. Handy robot? That sounds awesome. It comes with 2 20-sided dice that you need to play the system, a 20-sided hit location die, we're going to check that out, and 4 6-sided Fallout game dice. You also get 56 Nuka-Cola cap tokens for use either as action points or currency. This sounds great. I can't wait to open this up. So it does say that it is for 2 to 7 players. We're going to have to find out if that means, does that literally mean you can just have a DM and 1 player? It says 2 to 7. That's what it implies, that you can have. It does say there's 6 pre-generated characters and the DM would be the 7th. So apparently this is doable as a 2-player game. That's really important for the people out there who maybe are like a couple or a couple of friends and you only find 2 people that want to play. It sounds like you can do that with this. It does say it is ages 14 and up. So let's check this out. Let's open this and see what we've got in here. All right. Right on top here. Here, let's put this right here so everybody can see what we're doing. Right here on top, I've got a little baggie with the dice. Exciting. All right. And then we have the rule book. Great art on here. Check that out. I love it. And then here's the adventure book. It says Once Upon a Time in the Wasteland. And it says right up here that it's from the starter set. So we've got that. Oh, I don't know if that's going to stay. We'll try. Now, what was under here next was a cardboard sheet of punch-outs of all the Nuka-Cola caps, but a bunch of them have already fallen out. This kind of got jostled around a little bit, so I'm not surprised. Let me just go ahead and punch the rest of these out. It looks like these little cardboard tokens come in 1s and 5s. Looks like all the red ones that say Nuka-Cola have a 1 on the back, and all the purplish bluish ones, I guess they're supposed to be blue, have a 5 on the back. There we go. Now it's empty. so we can get rid of that. And they really do look like little bottle caps. I'm not sure if that'll focus on that, but they look like little bottle caps on the front, and when you turn them over, it looks like a little bottle cap on the back with the number written inside the bottle cap. So what I'm going to do next is try to pull out, if I can, the papers that are underneath all these. Nope. I'm just going to have to dump them out. All right, hold on. Let me just get these little bottle caps out of here. There we go. You get quite a bit of them. What did it say, 56? Yes, 56 tokens. That's great. Let me push those over there. All right, and we'll get the rest of this stuff out of here. All right, now this is just the bottom of the box. I'm gonna get rid of that. So, here we have, these look like our pre-made character sheets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, that's everything in the box here. So let's go through this. First, we had our dice. Oh man. Folks, if you're finding this video helpful, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Putting a like on this video is going to help push it out to more people so that more friends can find us here. All right, so we have, remember this said this was a 2D20 system. I'm not so sure I've ever actually played a 2D20. I've played just a regular D20 system, right? Because that's what D&D is. I've played D6 dice pool systems, and I've played a 2D6 system, but I don't think I've ever actually played a 2D20. And I did do a little research. What that is, wow, these are really nice, oversized, chunky dice. These are much larger than your average size dice. Is that what you're normally going to do is roll, you're going to be adding a skill and a ability together to get a target number, and then you're trying to roll under it. So normally, right, D&D, when you have one D20, you're trying to roll high. In this game, you've got two D20s and you're trying to roll low. But you're trying to get multiple successes. So you add the stats together to get the target number, but I don't believe you add the dice together because you can get multiple successes. You're trying to get at least one of your dice to be equal to or under that target number. But if they both are, you've got additional successes that can be spent to do other things. All right, so it looks like I've also got, now, okay, let me just tell you that it's got a little, the 20 on the 20-sided die has a little Fallout logo, which is super cute. I love that. And these are in your traditional Fallout colors, blue dice with yellow numbers. But I've also got here, what did they call it? They called it a hit location die. Yeah, that's not going to stay. We're just going to get rid of that because it's just going to keep falling. So this hit location die is another D20, and it says on it, right leg, right arm, torso, head, left leg, left arm. So it's got all the body parts on it to see where this damage is taken. I'm not sure yet if that's the damage you're doing to somebody else, the damage you're taking, or maybe it's both. I don't know. We'll have to see in the rules when you use that. And then I've also got 4 D6s. These aren't your ordinary D6s though. You've got 2 blank sides, a side with like one little blast spot, one with 2 dice, 2 little blast spots, and then 2 sides that have the little person on them. I don't know if that's even going to focus on that. It probably isn't because the camera's going to try to keep focusing on my head. Maybe I'll be able to insert like a close-up shot or something to show you. So that's interesting. We've got some really unique dice here for this. Now, if you had the core rulebook and you didn't pick up this starter set, so you don't really have all these dice, I'm sure you can use other dice and just note, which digits, maybe like the 1 and the 2 or the blank side, the 3 is the 1, well, actually it'd be easiest, right? If you made the 1, the 2, the 2, maybe the 3 and the 4 are the blanks and the 5 and the 6 are the heads. You could certainly do that if you don't have these. But I love themed dice like this. I think they add something really special to your rolls and everything when you're doing that. All right, so let's check this out here. First, I'm going to go to, let's see this rule book here, right? So it said we do have a, what was it, like a 50-something page rule book? 53, 54, something like that? All right. So we have in here a little welcome to the Wasteland, playing your first game, preparing to play, setting expectations. This is really cool. And the art is spot on to the video game, okay? You've got, all the art is styled the same way you find things in the video game, all right? It goes into a little bit on like how to be the DM, how to be a, so yeah, the GM really, you're not in a dungeon, so it's the game master. Yeah, and it's got some interesting pictures down here. of like a Wasteland. Also talks about managing the flow of the game and advice for the starter set. Really cool. So chapter 2 of this goes into the characters. So it starts talking about, and you can follow along on the character sheet, the different attributes. So for this game, it looks like you have strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and now I haven't played the video games in a long time, but I think I read somewhere that those are actually right in line with the game. Does anybody know? Have you guys, who out there has played the video game lately that knows if these are indeed the same stats you have in the game? Could you put that in the comments down below for me and let me know? So it says each attribute has a rank from 4 to 10 or more. Although it looks like for the starter set, everybody legit is a 4 through a 10. I don't even see any 10s actually. These characters all start out with stats going, it looks like from 4 to 9. Okay, so you'll see the pre-generated characters, they have them already filled in up here. And then you have certain skills down the side here, and some of them have a little tag box that's marked off, not sure what that is, and a ranking. And just like when you, in the game, would go in your Pip-Boy, and you would see the little image of yourself with the different body parts, is right on this character sheet too. It looks like when you take damage, you're going to like take it on specific body parts, just like the game. That's great. And then you have a section down here for your weapons, and it tells you what skill it uses and how much damage it does, and if it has any qualities, things like that. Wow, this is really cool. And they already have character names up here, but I'm sure you could change it if you wanted. This one is Augusta Byron, and this is a vault dweller, this one. Very cool. So when I flip this over on the back, it talks about how many caps you have, right? Caps is the money system. And then I've got some perks and traits back here, as well as how much ammo I have. I'm sure this game is going to be a little crunchy on the side of like tracking certain things, like literally tracking how much ammo you have, what types of things you have, what items you have, because it says I've got so much water, so many stim packs, so many bobby pins, maybe for lockpicking, mentats, all the same things that come in the game. So it sounds as though this is going to be a little crunchier than some of the systems when it comes to actually tracking resources. But that, I don't mind that sometimes. Sometimes that's the kind of game I'm looking for, and it makes sense to go along with the Fallout theme. So this rulebook, right, then it talks about each special attribute, and then it talks about the different skills and what they're used for. Like barter is for buying and selling, explosives, blowing things up or stopping them from doing that, science for hacking, programming, and brewing chemicals. That's really cool. Then it talks about these tag skills. So it says that the tags are areas of expertise. It's focused training. So that's really cool. It says if you have a skill that's tagged, it increases your chance of a critical. That's really neat. So then it talks about your carrying weight and what happens if you're over encumbered, just like in the game. Wow. It goes over initiative, defense, damage, resistance, your basic rules. This is your basic rules. Okay, so chapter 3 gets into your core rules here, and it talks about the dice. So it does say that if you're going to attempt to do something that you could possibly fail at, you're going to roll. It actually says a pool of 2 to 5 20-sided dice. So they've only included 2 in here. So I guess there's a possibility that you may have to roll them multiple times if you have to roll more than 2 dice for something. But man, these are nice big chunky boys. Look at this. Like, this is a regular D6, and this is the same type of D6 that you would find in like a board game, like a Monopoly game or something. But the D20s are so chunky huge. I love it. I like nice big oversized dice like this. So it does tell you that you would be choosing an attribute. Well, it says the game master chooses which attribute and skill from your character sheet that's appropriate. Add them together. That's your target number for each D20. You can suggest which attribute and skill might apply, but the GM has the final say. So the GM is going to set the difficulty, and it says it's normally between 1 and 5, and that's how many successes you need. So you may need 1 success, but you may get to roll both dice, so as long as you have a success on one of them, you succeed. All right. It also states that you can buy more D20s for the pool by spending action points. And it says it's going to go over at what action points are in a couple more pages here. So you're going to roll, see if you've gotten the right number of successes. That's really, it says if the skill you're using is a tagged skill, then you get a critical success for each die that rolls equal to or less. So you don't have to roll the max on this. You don't have to, I mean, you're trying to roll under, so you don't have to get the 1. Oh, before I said the logo was on the 20, this is a roll under, so the logo is actually on the 1. There is a 20 over here. So if that skill is tagged, if you roll under it, it's not a regular success, it's a critical success. That's really cool. Now, it does say, and I thought this was a neat twist, any D20 that actually rolls a 20 generates a complication. And it says that that's on the next page, how to go over the complications. Very cool. So that's your base here, right? Attribute plus skill, dice pool of D20s, try to roll under, can spend action points to get extra dice. If it's a tag, something you're really good at, it counts as a critical, but any 20 is a complication. That's not too bad. I like this. This sounds really cool. There's examples in here. It talks about what to do with the critical successes. Wow, that's really neat. Okay, so then it also talks about group tests, opposed tests. Interesting. And let's see. Then we go up into that section of action points. I did read somewhere how you get these, but I have to remind myself here. Okay, check your successes against the difficulty. Each success you get above the difficulty, number of difficulties you need, you gain an action point. So if you needed 2 successes and you rolled 3 successes, that extra success becomes an action point that you can spend later. So it does say, okay, you can use it so many different things. You can use it to buy D20s so you can get more dice in the pool. You can get it to obtain information, it says. Ask the game master a single question about the current situation based on your test. Or you can reduce time for 2 action points, can allow the test to take less time to complete when time is important. Spending 2 action points halves the amount of time it takes. That's cool. There's also another set for if you're in combat. If you're in combat, you can spend an action point to take an additional minor action, or 2 to take an additional major action. I seem to recall that that's how this system also works. When you're in combat, instead of having like an action and a bonus action and a reaction and all these different types of actions like other systems do, you have a minor action and a major action. So this is saying you can spend action points to take an additional minor or an additional major. You can also, says, spend action points to do additional damage. That's really cool. And it talks about being able to save your action points. You can save up to 6 of them. And they can save 6 of them as a group. See, that's the other thing I think I read somewhere, is that when you get an action point, they all go into a pool and anybody can use those action points. So if someone hasn't generated any lately, they're not just SOL. Everybody's putting their action points into the pool so that all the other players can use them too. That's really cool. All right, from here, it's going to talk about luck and the luck points. Spend luck to shift the odds in your favor in different ways. Let's see, it looks like there's luck of the draw, a stacked deck, lucky timing, misfortune. So there's different ways that you can spend your luck, and then it tells you how to get luck back. Talks a little bit about NPCs, and then the next chapter is all about combat and how combat works. So remember I just mentioned like minor actions and major actions. For minor actions, you can aim, and aiming allows you to re-roll one of the D20s on the attack roll. You can draw an item, you can interact, you can move, or you can take some type of chemical, like administer a dose of chem that you're holding. So those, I think, would probably be like your mentats or stim packs, stuff like that. So those are minor actions. Your major actions are assist another character, make an attack, or command an NPC to do something, defend yourself, or do first aid. Sorry if you can hear a little bit of thunder. Sunny Florida is not being so sunny at the moment. You can rally or ready something. That sounds like holding your action, like is available in other types of games. You can sprint or do some type of test with the game master's permission. All right, so then it's going to go into all about the different types, like what to do during combat, how it works if you're making an attack, how ranges work. We just talked about this, right, in some of the Daggerheart videos, how some of these games use ranges instead. And if you haven't seen that Daggerheart video, I'll put one of them right up there so you can check that out. But this, again, uses close, medium, long, and extreme range, it says. So you're not X amount of feet away and your movement isn't a certain amount of feet. It's done in ranges, which is interesting because then certain things can include all the people within that range, not necessarily just one. Sometimes it's all or multiples. Talks about the combat dice, damage, the different types of damage. Now in this game, you've got physical, energy, radiation, and poison damage, just like the game. This is great. I love it. I think I'm going to get an opportunity to at least try a one-shot of this game sometime in the near future with some friends from TikTok, and I'm super excited to try this out. Like I said, I've always loved the video games, so I think trying out this TTRPG is going to be so much fun. It goes over radiation damage for radioactive things and what happens if your character's dying, and then it goes into healing. So this has enough rules. You know, it's not that big, giant, over 400-page core rulebook with all the little details, but it's enough to just get the gist of the game and go through a little scenario that might take you a couple sessions. That way you at least know if this is a type of game you'd like to play in the future and see if you want to delve into getting the whole core rulebook or if you're just okay with the starter set. Then it goes into some reference stuff. Oh, so this part is like a little glossary. Everything, it's got all the perks. Oh man, do you remember playing the game? Those perks list? There's so many things to choose from in perks, and I did read that about this game. It's just like the video game where there's a million perks. Not literally a million, but there's a lot of different perks to choose from. A lot of them you have to meet prerequisites for if you want. And some of them are just really kind of silly, and some of them like make a really big difference in the game. It's really kind of cool. Wow. Okay, so you've got all your little perks here. Pages and pages of perks. Okay, then it gets into the equipment, and it talks about weapons, what their damage rating means, what their fire rate means, the ranges you can use them in, the different qualities. That's another thing. There's so many different qualities to weapons, even in the video game, and they really transferred all that over to the role-playing game. I mean, there's the accuracy, the blast, whether it can be concealed, if it's a mine, whether or not it has night vision, whether or not it's reliable, if it's a suppressed weapon, if it can be thrown, if it's two-handed, if it's unreliable, if it's inaccurate. And then you've got your charts. Oh my gosh. And some of these are hilarious, just like the game. You've got, sure, for your ranged weapons, you've got pistols, you've got rifles, you've got shotguns. But when you get over here to melee weapons, you've got a lead pipe. You've got a pool cue. You've got a rolling pin. But you still have stuff like brass knuckles, a javelin, a combat knife, a handy rock. Oh my gosh. And then it gets into your armor and your clothing, and if it helps you resist radiation or energy damage, what part of you it covers. Some of these things are only headgear. Some of it covers your arms, torso, and legs, but not your head. Man, they really covered everything in this, even just for a starter set. Now, there's a section right here, actually, about your Pip-Boy. Very interesting. And I'm wondering what it does in sense of the game. It may just be a little bit of flavor. See, there's a page here with some really cool artwork about the Pip-Boy. But it does, Pip-Boy units aid their wearer with Vault-Tec-assisted targeting system. Now, I'll tell you, I am very bad at shooting games. Not very good at shooting games at all. So this is why I loved Fallout, because of this assisted targeting system that allowed me to like slow down time and focus on what body part and then just fire off some bullets. It made it a fun game for me because I cannot do like first person shooter, third person shooter. I'm just not good at those. It does say when a character equipped with a Pip-Boy makes an attack, they can ignore the normal difficulty increase for targeting a specific location. Oh my gosh, they made it kind of work in the game, in the TTRPG, the same way it works in the video game. Yes. Okay. I'm getting more excited about this. I can't wait to play this. All right. And then it talks about food and beverages, because again, remember stuff like that, it can like help you heal. Remember, you'd walk around in the game and you'd find like there's pork and beans in here, there's mongrel dog meat, there's gumdrops, and it all can heal you a little bit. And then there's beverages. You got the Nuka-Cola, you've got moonshine, dirty water, bourbon, and then you've got your chemicals. It's got your Buff Out, Daddy-O, Jet, Mentats, Psycho, Rad-X, Stimpack, Radaway, all the same stuff from the game. The flavor is here. and I'm here for it. All right, then it talks about junk. You can go scavenging, and that's interesting that they even added the scavenging into the starter set. But again, like I said, you see how you're going to be tracking a lot of stuff. There is only so much space on here to write items. You're probably going to need an additional piece of paper or notebook when you play this starter set to keep track of stuff if you're scavenging and picking up junk and trying to make things into other things or trying to repair stuff. All right. Yeah. So, oh my gosh, you know how in the game you collected bobbleheads, right? You collected all those little bobbleheads and they did stuff. Well, and this one has magazines. And actually, magazines were in the book. Sorry, not the book. Magazines were in the game too, weren't they? Bobbleheads you just collected. But didn't you found magazines, right, to unlock perks? Can you comment down below? That was in the game, right? I'm not crazy? Okay, I don't think I'm crazy. The magazines are in the game. That's great. You can find and read a magazine to gain its temporary perk. Wow. And there's a little list here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 different magazines in the starter set anyway. I don't know, the core rulebook could have more that you can find and read for perks. This is great. Okay, so the back here is just a couple ads for some of Modiphius's other games. They're also responsible for the Akchung Cthulhu series, as well as the Dune tabletop role-playing game. That's another one that's really interesting that I'd like to check out. Let me know down below if you're interested in seeing an unboxing of the Dune role-playing game, because I think that also has a starter set that I could pick up. All right, and then the back here actually talks about their war game. They actually make a war game with miniatures that's kind of like Warhammer 40K, but for Fallout themed. But again, this is the tabletop role-playing game. So that's the rule book, and that's got a lot of information in it for a starter set. All right, that was the rule book, and there's a lot of stuff in here for a starter set, but a good amount of stuff that is not overwhelming, I think. That's great. It seems like it's going to be pretty doable here. Now let's check out the adventure, Once Upon a Time in the Wasteland. And I'm not going to look at this too much. I don't want to spoil anything for you guys, but I also don't know if this is the adventure I'm going to end up playing, so I don't want to peek into it too much. Now, this is, I will tell you, it's 60 pages. Goes all the way up to the back is the 60th page. And remember, this is supposed to take place in Boston, so I'm super excited about that. Yes, it says explore the nuclear-ravaged wastelands outside of Boston. All right, so let me first just look at the contents here. So it's got an introduction, and then it says Chapter 2 is into Vault 95. I think originally, like, it's Vault 101 or 111 or something like that. I think the core rulebook says Vault 111 on the front, and this is Vault 95 for the starter set. Chapter 3 goes into the Boston ruins, and then there's it says the Promised Land. I don't know what that means. I'm not going to look at it too much. I don't want to know. And then Chapter 5 looks like it's all loot tables, right? So doesn't that happen in the game all the time? You loot stuff. You kill somebody, you see what's on their body. You go, you find a container, you loot through it. And you remember I talked about you can find so much random stuff, and you can salvage for things and then create things out of that. Well, there is a random ammunition table, random weapon tables, random armor tables, hit locations, and random beverages. How awesome. Okay, I do not want to go too far into this. I was just wondering if there was any art, Boston-related art in here. So I'm just going to No, I don't see any, other than I'm sure it'll be flavored that way from Chapter 2 is all about the Boston ruins. Wow. Okay, so the beginning here just has like a little introduction. Oh, now interesting. This says, so the back of the starter set here, right? When I was reading you guys, all the stuff that was on here, this says 2 to 7 players. And I'm like, okay, there's 6 pre-made characters, you got a DM, so it says 2. So you could literally have like a player and a GM. When I start reading this little campaign introduction, it says, Once Upon a Time in the Commonwealth is a short campaign told in 3 quests, ideally meant to be played by a game master and 4 to 6 players. So that may mean that if you only have the 2, maybe that one player needs to play multiple characters, because it sounds as though it's going to be a little overpowered if just one person tries to do it. I find that a little strange that it says 2 to 7 back here, but then in the book it says 4 to 6 players. I don't know. Let's see. Is there any kind of information about in here if you don't have 4 players? This campaign is designed to be used with the starter rules book. It's suitable for first-time players playing new or pre-generated characters, but can incorporate existing characters too. Let's see. For an experienced team looking for more of a challenge, you can begin with 2 action points per player. So a few ways to adjust it here and there. GMs that want a less challenging game may choose to start the group at a higher level than level 1 instead. But the character sheets that come with it are level 1 characters. I don't know. I'm not seeing anything really too much about like if you don't have that many people. So I find it a little interesting that the back of this said 2 to 7 players. But this, let me know, have any of you actually played the starter set with only 2 people? Was it ever just like a GM and you had a player? Did they double up on character sheets? Let me know what happened. All right, now, if you're finding this helpful, you may want to go ahead and subscribe to this channel. On this channel at Kristen's Epic Adventures, we go over all things tabletop role-playing games, whether it's rules breakdowns, tips, tricks, unboxings, and reviews. You're going to find it all here for not just D&D, but all different games. So you're going to want to make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you know when the new videos come out. All right, so let's take a look real quick at these character sheets. Now, these are nice. These are like heavier. They're like cardstock, like a lightweight cardstock, honestly, not just a piece of paper like the D&D ones are a piece of paper. These are actually pretty thick. Now, just being the type of person I am, they seem so nice. I would hate to write on these and then like not be able to like reuse them. Now, I don't know if this game has any replayability or not. So, but I mean, I'm also one for trying to find online digital resources for things like this too. Yeah, so I don't know. They're nice. They're much thicker than regular paper. They're like on a light cardstock again. All right, so you've got your level that you put up here in the corner. You'd put down how much XP you've earned and how much XP you need to do to get to the next level. Okay, this one says it's a survivor. So maybe it's just somebody out in the wasteland that wasn't in the... It's Happy Tommy Doyle. So then we have Bailey Big Smile, who is a ghoul. This one says right on it that the origin is ghoul. All right. Then we have a super mutant named Old Tall Man. We have a Brotherhood initiate. Remember there was some kind of like faction called Brotherhood of the something in that game. I can't remember what it was called. Somebody help me out in the comments. But you can play as a member of that Brotherhood. And then you've got your Mr. Handy. I'm kind of excited about this. When I get to play, I think I want to be a Mr. Handy. I always love playing the type of characters that help out other people, like buff the other players and stuff like that. And his name is Marvin, it says. All right, so you've got your stats over here. You've got your skills down here. And then now we know what this tag column is for. If the tag box is marked off, that means you're trained in that and you're better at it. So any success is a critical success in that. Very cool. It also tells you how much damage resistance you have to each body part. So cool. All right, then weapons. Some of these people are really jacked up with weapons already here. Mr. Handy has a pincher. That's like his unarmed attack. I think that's just his little hands, you know, that grab stuff. He's got a buzzsaw, a flamer, and a baseball bat. Nice. All right, and then that Brotherhood initiate, he's got a combat knife and a laser pistol. The super mutant has an unarmed attack. It doesn't really say everybody has an unarmed attack, but the super mutant has an unarmed attack, a machete, a baseball bat, a pipe rifle, and some tomahawks for throwing. That's cool. All right. The ghoul has a pipe wrench, a pipe gun, a baseball grenade, and an unarmed attack. The vault dweller has a switchblade, a 10mm pistol, and an unarmed attack. And that survivor, Happy Tommy Doyle, has some brass knuckles, a pipe gun, and also an unarmed attack. So he doesn't have too much. But again, you can find stuff out there, right? So that's really cool. So they all come all weaponed up. And if you go to the back, not only do they have certain items, but they have a little biography down here. So there's like a little backstory. But they have some really cool perks and traits. And it tells you all about them and what they do. So Mr. Handy Robot has this pincher arm attachment. He has a perk called Slayer. When you inflict any damage with an unarmed attack or a melee weapon, you can spend a luck point to immediately inflict inflict, I can't read today, a critical hit and therefore an injury on the location. He also has a boiler modification, which once per scene allows him to turn dirty water into purified water. Very cool. What else we got here? The survivor has something called heavy-handed. Your melee damage bonus increases. He has something called scoundrel. If you make a charisma plus speech test to convince someone of a lie, you can ignore the first complication. And these are just all your really interesting abilities that these characters have. It sounds like there's some really neat abilities in here, which go right along with the theme of the game. Oh, hacker. Hello. I like that too. You know, I like anything with hacking in it. This is the Vault Dweller, has a trait called Hacker. The difficulty of skill tests to hack computers is decreased by 1. It also tells you who has a Pip-Boy, because this says VATS, the VAT system. Ignore the difficulty increase for targeting a hit location. Is he the only one with a VATS? The Vault Dweller? How much you want to bet? The Ghoul's not going to have a VATS. Nope. The Ghoul has faster healing, super mutant, forced evolution, and comprehension. Wow. Interesting. Okay. And the Brotherhood Initiate, no, has healing and a multi-tool and something called the chain that binds. But only the Vault Dweller is the one that has the VATS. The Pip-Boy. That makes so much sense. I love it. Oh my gosh. Okay. So let me know in the comments down below. Are you going to pick this up? This is really cool. Now, you know, the second season of the Fallout show on Amazon is coming out. I believe it said December 1st. I still have to finish the first season, but I got a little bit of time. I don't even think I'm halfway through, though. I think I'm maybe like a third of the way through the first season. So I'm going to watch some more of that. I think they're doing a great job with the show. It's so, like, true to the game. I love it. But I'm super excited to play this now. There's a lot of good value, I think, in here. You got a really cool adventure. It didn't really say how many sessions it would take to play. No, it didn't. It just said introductory campaign. It just says over several sessions. I get it. It depends on how long you play each time. It does have like 4 parts though. 3 parts. It has 3 parts. A decent amount of rules. Pre-made characters. But you know what else I also like? A lot of starter sets are kind of made so that you really should use the pre-made characters or you might have a hard time. But this literally says, or you can make your own. So it sounds as though it wouldn't be a problem. You can change stuff, reflavor stuff, do whatever you want. These dice are awesome. God, I love this one. The torso, right leg, right arm, left arm. That's so cool. I love these big chunky D20s. And then these custom D6s with the little Fallout guy on them. And hello, how about the Nuka-Cola caps? There's so much flavor in here. I love it. Little Nuka-Cola caps. It did say you could use these to track how many action points you have. You could probably just use the numbers on the back if you wanted, or just use them by the front or whatever. But yeah, great. I think it's really interesting. I am very excited to try a 2D20. I have never tried a 2D20. I think I've played some other games where you had to take a base ability and combine it with a skill to make up like a dice pool, I think. But in this one, you do that to make the target number. Wow. I think this is going to be awesome. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Would you pick this up? I'm going to put a link to this on Amazon if you want to get this and you want to get it through Amazon that way. It does help out the channel because it is an affiliate link, so it gets me a little bit of a commission if you wanted to help out. Also, I wanted to let you know, you may have noticed my shirt here. It's really cool. This is from Wizardly Tees. It says, "My only vice is rolling dice." They have some amazing TTRPG related t-shirts, and I was able to work with them and get you guys a discount code. If you would like to place an order with them, if you want a 20% discount when you order your shirts, you can use the code EPIC, EPIC, and at checkout, and that will give you 20% off anything you want to get from Wizardly Tees. Check them out. Now you're going to want to watch one of the videos on the next screen. Go ahead and click that, and I will meet you there.